Page 136, an ancient dance. On page 135, they give you some more exercises and stuff to fill in. Have fun with that if you want to have fun with it. I don't cover it in the videos, but if you have questions, you're welcome to ask. I want to talk about this dance, though. It's 1 page long, but it's got repeat signs and it's got a coda. I don't think we've had codas before. I don't remember. I don't think we have. We'll talk about all this stuff because you need to understand it. You're going to see it over and over if you keep playing music. 3/4 time, treble and bass clef, 1 sharp in the key signature. It's either in G major or E minor. I think we've been studying E minor, so this is probably an E minor. Just make sure you can do the scales. The G major and E minor scale, do them both. You ought to be doing them 2 octaves up and down too. I explain it all in the scale videos for that. Go do that stuff. Let's cover this one hand at a time. Make sure we have the notes and the rhythms and all. The right hand, when it comes in, it's here. And then immediately the thumb. Again, we take advantage of these repeated notes to change hand positions. This is normal. So it's 3, 1, and 2, and remember the F sharp? It's in the key signature. And they want you to, you can use thumb. I prefer second finger. I just reach down, use second finger. And you do that again. On measure 10, that's the last measure of the second line, I suggest you use thumb on that. This way you're in position for the 3rd finger. Because if you're using 3rd finger, you got to use it again. Yuck. So use thumb on that. And then going on, measure 11. Connect these. Oh my goodness, triplets. 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda. 1 enda, 2, and start with measure 12. It's the measure in front of the triplets. It's here, and that would put 3rd finger, here, 2nd finger, and then they want 3rd finger, and then I'd like to suggest another fingering here. It's a little more advanced, but it will serve you well in the future. There's nothing wrong with fingering in the book. It's fine. I just prefer a different one. So again, starting with measure 12, you're here. And I'm just going to stay here for the first triplet, and then for the second triplet, I'm going to do a 1/4, 1/4 here is what I recommend you do, and then your second finger is what you need anyway. So, and then the B, you can lift up here is fine. Just lift up. Because you repeat back to measure 11, you need to be here, and that's okay. For the coda, you're here. You can play the coda, you can play it with thumb, it's fine. You can cross over 2nd finger for the next measure. And that's really all the coda is. Okay, fine. Left hand, well, down here, E and a B. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, this is fun. So much for the left hand. Put them together. And remember, when you go to put the hands together, all you're trying to do is get them to work together. You'll hesitate all over the place. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's like it's here. And then thumb in the right hand. And here. 3rd line down, it's here. 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda. Okay. And that's really it. So you go through as slow as you need to, get the hands together, and no hesitation. So this is a steady beat in the left hand. At whatever speed you're choosing for now. You speed it up later. Then we add the articulation. An accent, well, you get a natural accent on the first beat anyway, but they want a stronger one. So you force it 1, and then short staccatos. Connect this and this. You can't connect the repeated note, but and the right hand, short staccatos. I'm hinging at the wrist here on these. And these 8th notes, go ahead and connect them. That's fine. You can slightly disconnect them if you want to. That's interpretation. But right now, just connect them. Measure 11. Here, accent. Connect the right hand. Now, keep in mind in measures 12 and 13, there's no accent in there. It's just here. There's no accent there, but the left hand does. And then for the coda at the bottom, sort of the articulation, it's just very repetitive. It's just a strong downbeat and then staccato in the left hand. And in the right hand, you have a choice. And if they have a slur, you connect it. But if there's nothing, you can disconnect it or connect it or experiment with different things and see what you like. Dynamics, well, they're giving you 2. You don't need 2. This left hand is in the background. We want to hear the melody. That makes these accented notes loud for that one note. And that makes the accented notes sort of loud. That's sort of loud, medium loud. Then when you get to the end of the second line, now you're loud. For the third line, you're loud in the right hand. The left hand, keep it back. And then in the second ending of the third line, the F dies away on its own. You play it loud and that's it. When the left hand gets softer, just let it sort of die away too. In the coda, there is a morendo there in the second measure. Morendo means to die away. You're going to fade out. Like you're going off in the distance, you're getting quieter. And then a retardando, slow down at the end. And for once, you don't get an accent in either hand there in the last measure. And then the fermata, you just hold that out for a while. If I do it with a metronome, I'll just hold it for 6 counts instead of 3. I just double the value. Now speed, well, allegro is quick or happy. Rhythmically, I do everything rhythmically. I mean, it's a dance. You got to keep a steady beat. But it has to be accurate. So what can you do? You find the hardest part in it, maybe the third line. Triplets. How fast can you play those accurately? And that's probably how fast you can take it. It'll be different for different people. Roadmap, because this thing is going every which direction. In the third line down, you have a reverse repeat sign and then 2 endings. So in the third line down, you're going to play measures 11, 12, and 13. And then you do the first ending, and then you repeat back to measure 11 and do them again, and then do the second ending. At the end of the second ending, underneath, there's a DC-Al sign, then coda. You need the DC-Al coda is what you need. The DC, remember, means go back to the beginning. Just go to the beginning. No questions asked, just go to the beginning. The coda sign is a circle with a crosshairs in it. You don't need the then coda. They're helping you out. When you get to that sign, then you immediately jump to the coda. The sign is in the second line between the last 2 measures above the staff. It says second time to coda. You don't need that either. That's really, you don't get that typically in music. All you get is the sign. And when you get to that point, then instead of playing the last measure of the second line, instead you play the coda, jump down to the coda. In many cases, maybe most cases, I'm not sure, the coda is just an afterthought. It's just a tag on the end. The piece ends right before you go to the coda, or maybe with the first measure of the coda, and that's it. The rest of it is just an afterthought. But in some pieces, especially classical music, the coda is a very important part of the piece. Now on top of that, they've added a little bit of pedal at the end. Normally, I would say leave that out. If you're not going to use pedal anywhere else, don't put it on the end. However, we can do a type of pedaling technique, what I haven't shown you before, but you might come in handy. And that is, we're going to use the pedal with the hands at the same time, up, down, and up, to reinforce the accent. Here, the first beat of a measure has got an accent. They want it. Ba, ba, ba. So I can push the pedal down right with that one note to give it overtones, give it flavor. And so I'm going to recommend we do that. Now, if we do that, we can go ahead and use pedal at the end too, if you want. There is a retardando at the end where you slow down. Typically with a dance you wouldn't do that because people are moving to it and you don't change the rhythm so much or the tempo when they're dancing. But they want you to slow down, so maybe by now, because you're dying away, people are about done dancing, I guess. I don't know. Use your imagination. I'd like to play this with you very slowly. Let's double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics. I will do the accents. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested. And we're going to do all the repeats and everything. So I'll give us 3 counts. And let's try it together slowly. 1, ready, go. Repeat. Second ending. Now back to the top. Repeat. Now go on. 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, off.